Greetings, friends and advocates. You might be here because you're a little pissed off or you're a little confused. What's going on with these vape changes in Australia? My God. I don't really care about the nicotine vape ban. It is really sad what's happening to that market. I understand it for the disposables, but it's kind of ridiculous in regards to proper mod kits that are much, much, much better for the environment and the user for long-term health outcomes. However, today I really want to talk about the dry herb vape ban and the consequences that's occurring for patients. I'm not here as just a stoner wanting to get baked. I'm here for the patients. You know, like there's a lot of us now in this country. I think there's probably between 500,000 to 1,000,000 patients, and I reckon we're going to get to 2,000,000 patients in no time, which is a pretty significant portion of this country, right? And this dry herb vape ban has caused so many problems because the first issue is that the Mighty Medic and the Volcano vaporizer are the only vaporizers allowed on the bloody market to be sold to patients. And that's a $500 vape and a $700 vape. A lot of patients struggle to even afford the consultation to see doctors. And now you're saying they have to buy a $500 vaporizer? Not everyone has that luxury, unfortunately. I've got the Mighty Medic. It's a great device, but I'm not going to say that that's the be-all, end-all vaporizer. It's not what I use every day. I actually find these devices are not the best vaporizers for medical patients. They're okay. There's no issues with them, but they're not really practical. And quite honestly, there needs to be a bit of a change. I've been vaporizing for 10 years, 12 years. I don't know. I started vaping very early into my cannabis journey because I read a lot of research papers around the harms of the smoke and the benefits of vaping. And I truly believe that with vaporization, you get a more therapeutic effect because you're tasting the terpenes, and the terpenes are kind of the smells and tastes of cannabis that drive the therapeutic effects. You know, when it's an indica, it's often earthy and pungent, and it's low to the ground, and it's a bit more sedating. It grounds you. Where it's like if it's a sativa, it's often quite lemony, citrusy, or it's more fresh, kind of terpenoline sort of smell like a forest, and it gets you up and thinking of adventure, and you're a little energized. And then there's everything in between, but these smells, when you vaporize, really create the therapeutic effect. So vapes are essential, right? There's no question. I love them. The problem is I have these vapes. That's a bong, but I have a bunch of vaporizers. I've got the Airizer Solo 2. I've got a Sticky Brick. I've got a Cano Pro. I've got a Mighty. I've got a Volcano. I've got the Anvil. Like, I've got a lot of vapes, okay? The vapes, effectively, have been lumped up with the nicotine regulations. I've had a chat with some doctors and some pharmacists that I do know, and I know quite a couple, and you know, the pharmacists on one hand are like, well, it's another way for us to make money, but it really sucks for our patients and their outcomes because they, one, won't stock many vaporizer options, which could inadvertently not allow the patients to medicate safely. They might just turn to combustion. Lots of them actually regard this as like a bit of an impact on the patient and health outcomes. The doctors I've met, like a lot of them don't even concern themselves too much with combustion. They don't encourage it. They actively try and get patients away from it, but they understand patients medicate the way that they want to regardless. Adding barriers to that is not going to solve any problem here. Like the fact is most vaporizers in the country pretty safe. Like there's if someone doesn't like it, they stop using it. Normally a vaporizer that's bad is a vaporizer that doesn't work. So what's happening now is you're going to need a license to import vaporizers, but to sell it, you're going to need to be a pharmacist. But there's only a few TGA approved vaporizers. This causes a lot of issues. Apparently there will be more that are going to get like sponsored and be approved. So hopefully it's not a hard process, but that's still to be told. Like at the moment, no one can buy anything apart the two and the stock that exists in the country. So if you've been looking to get a vape, bloody get one soon because there's not going to be any left. I had a chat with Australian vaporizers. They're going to be out of stock at I'm not going to tell you when, but let's just say, get your fucking vapes. Go to Oz Vapes. I've got a link below. Go to A Friend Indeed. These are two companies that I personally have dealt with, and they're really great, and they understand vape tech. Also Australian dryherbvaporizers.com.au. They've got the sticky bricks. They're fucking awesome. Grab your vapes like while you can. So, like, how does it work overseas? Most of the other places in the world don't regulate how patients use their cannabis. Like they've often got edible forms. They've got the vape pens, just sold on the, like, you don't have to, a lot of it's recreational now. They're not concerned with that effect. And I guess in Australia, we've got that concern. And I do encourage vaping. I think it is the better way to go, but I don't judge. And sometimes I do want to have a nice joint or a bong. Like, fuck off. It's my body, my choice, right? These laws really haven't been thought about very well. And personally, I think long term, this isn't going to hold. This isn't the end, right? But it is maybe the end for a lot of the vaporizer companies that have existed for a long time. And they take with them years of experience. They really understand this market, the user's needs, and they can recommend good vaporizers and help support them, cleaning them, maintaining them. They're tools. They're not just, throw away $30 nicotine vapes. These are things that have to be taken care of and cleaned, and someone has to also teach you to use them. Vaporizers are such a personal experience. If you're not using them, how can you really recommend a product? How is a pharmacist going to say to the patient, hey, this is the vape and this is how you use it? I don't use it though, because I don't use medicinal cannabis. It's a very uncomfortable situation where you're basically saying to the pharmacist they need to use these vapes to be able to understand how to sell them. So, I mean, pharmacists, fucking hit me up. You want to sesh? We can sesh. It's cool. I'll teach you. I'll tell you all about the cool vapes. So what's going to happen? I think people will just turn to combustion. I can go buy a pack of papers or a bong just, up the road at a tobacconist, and I can get high as fuck. I don't give a fuck. I'll cough my lungs up and maybe be a bit more phlegmy, but I can do it. And then everyone's going to know I'm fucking smoking. It's a real travesty. I think this is sad, guys. This is not a happy story. So I want to say, first of all, I'm really sorry that I didn't bring this to to you guys sooner. I've been a little busy with my own personal things and business things that I do outside of Fab. So there has been a petition and it's had like 28,000 signatures, which is fucking incredible. That's why I don't think this will stand. This will change and overturn. It hasn't been thought about. Something's going to have to change. Otherwise, you're going to have a lot of people going out of business, and that's not good for the economy. There's going to be bad patient outcomes. It's not a good time for anyone. So I'm sorry that I didn't give the petition to you guys sooner. I will try and keep on top of this a little more. It's best to follow me on Instagram, to be honest. That's where I do a lot of content on the story posts and things like that to keep people up to date with what's going on. If you want to be a bit more proactive about this, keep on top of it by probably visiting the Ozants Reddit and the Medical Cannabis Oz subreddit. People post about what's going on there. Follow us. That's pretty cool. Write to your local member. Write to the TGA. Send submissions, just saying that this is ridiculous. We really don't know what's going to happen here. I truly feel for the vaporizer industry here. This is... It's a sad day for patients. It's always like 2-3 steps forward, 2-3 steps back. And, I understand that growth and change is not linear. We don't go this way. It's a ride that goes forwards, then backwards, then forwards, then backwards. And you keep going up. On the long horizon, we'll get to where we need to. It will be a fair system, hopefully, one day. But until we get there, we will have these setbacks. And I think this industry and this community is growing. I think people are seeing this as an alternative way to medicate and relax and enjoy life. It's a lifestyle as well. I think it's unfair to be judged for how we choose to consume our medicine. And quite honestly, this is where change starts. This is where I think people are starting to be like, hang on, we can lobby together. We are a community. I know people from all ages that are using medicinal cannabis to improve their lives, from 18 all the way to 60, 70, 80 years old. You know, people have finally been allowed to use this medicine again. And, you know, they've been using this medicine for thousands of years. Vaporizers didn't even exist, and it's never killed anyone. I think that's something that the TGA seems to forget, or regulators seem to forget. Cannabis has never killed anyone, whether through a fucking dry herb vape or a bong. I don't care. It doesn't kill people. If people end up hurting their lungs, they're not dying, but they're hurting it, they often will change that. And I have known so many people who have swapped from bongs to vaporizers because as you get older, it starts to matter, right? It's been changing for a long time, and I talk to hundreds, if not thousands, of medicinal patients and, you know, people from the industry, and we are all here to progress patient improvement, and this does nothing but stigmatize patients. And fuck, man. Anyway, thank you guys. I know it's a bit of a rant, but this sucks.